Ladies and gentlemen, this is Radio Skid Row 88.9 and you're tuned into the first ever episode of The Good Smoke. Not The Good Smoke, just Good Smoke. We're so excited, we don't even know what's going on. This is, I'm even, for those who are just listening on radio, eventually we have some footage that you're going to have online. So for those that are watching online, here's the little thing. This is the first episode. It's kind of like one of the things you get at the movies or on the film set where they go act before they say action. They have that little thing that what's it called? You're in film, a clapper. Yeah, so we don't have a clapper.
You're an extra as well. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce first of all. This is Eddie. He's the maestro on the mic and the panel. And fill yourself in, Eddie.
Oh, my name is Eddie. How you going, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah.
Usually I introduce myself as E-double-D-I-E, but I'm not going to go like that anymore. My name is Eddie, and yeah, this is officially the first show that we're starting off with. And today is just going to be a journey through conversation about how we got to this stage, and we'll see how it naturally goes, how it is.
It'll be I'm excited as I am nervous because behind a lot of this, a lot of people have come to us and go, "What's Good Smoke?" And if you're hearing this for the first time, you're going, "Oh, this is a new show, whatever." In the past, this segment has been run by me and Eddie, but it was previously the Big Smoke, and we didn't have as much freedom and creative control as we kind of do now, and so things are exciting. And along the process of coming up with the name, the idea, the theme of our show, and the various things that you can find on social media. So we're active on all the social media networks and on YouTube.
Which are
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and Twitter at this point in time. So we'll get on the LinkedIn's and whatever, all the above.
Just bear with us. We're learning along the way.
Bear with us. And Good Smoke, if you want to find out more why we've called our show Good Smoke, we've got a website that you can go to, goodsmoke.com.au. And it has all the information there on our new blog. Even in the beginning, it has a little bit about us, which isn't too specific, which we've done that on purpose. Good Smoke is made up of two words. Good, one that is a lot of people understand, something good, as opposed to bad. The other, smoke, is an interesting thing. It's a triune substance, therefore it's like a solid, liquid, and a gas. And smoke is never just by itself, in a sense. It itself shows reaction, chemical reaction, whatever. It shows a relationship, a combination in process of combining. Mm-hmm. And what we want to do with this show is highlight many moments in not only in our society, in our individual lives, but on the grand scheme of things, in corporate, in entrepreneurial, in the art scene, or in social justice, whatever it may be. We want to highlight the smoke, the good smoke that people are going through, the processes that people have gone through, that sometimes gets overlooked. You see the trophy or you see the hardship, but you don't always see the road in between of where they got to where they were from, if that made sense. Yeah. I kind of stumbled. But so we've got a lot lined up. We've got a lot of dreams and visions. This in itself has been a dream that's been over 4 years in the making.
A bit longer.
That's over 4 years. I say over 4 years just to kind of... Those are global numbers.
Coming to the surface in the last 4 years.
Yeah, coming to the surface in the last 4 years. Or at least, before that was more a dream. After, about 4.5 years ago, it started becoming, wait a sec, we can put meat on these bones and actually see if something can venture out from it. And so far, we finally got here and it's an exciting time. Mm-hmm. Every Tuesday we do a radio show that is here on Radio Skid Row 88.9 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You can find us online through TuneIn, through the internet radio. You can go to radioskidrow.org and there's a little toggle there, a little media player there that you can play live to whatever shows on Radio Skid Row at the time. And so that's Australian Eastern Standard Time, knowing that there's a bunch of listeners worldwide listen to us. So shout out to you. We appreciate your views. And we appreciate that you've supported Radio Skid Row for 35 years. And on that note, Eddie, what are we celebrating right now? 35 years of being on this radio.
35, going into 36.
Going into 36.
So
what's just recently happened?
Recently we just had a fundraiser here, and I just want to do a really big shout out to all the people that did, give money to the fundraiser that happened.
Yeah.
And it went for about a month, and we were aiming for 36,000, which was
we lowballed it.
we went for 36,000, which was $1,000 for every year that we've been on the air.
Which sounds good. We thought
which was pretty fair.
We didn't think we were going to get that. Really,
exactly. And what happened was we got to that stage where we were like, we needed to start finding money to, get this place going and maintaining the place and keeping electricity on and the water and all whatnot. And we got to a stage where, you know, it was looking like, I don't know if we're going to make it. There was about 10 days or 7 days left, and it was at about 26,000. And, you know,
You
people
start
getting
feeling the
worried.
squeeze, yeah.
And, what happened was we eventually got to the last day, and it ended up being $40,000.
Yeah, bro.
Maybe a bit
over 40 grand.
Yeah. So thank you so much to everyone, and I want to personally thank the people that me and Breno that reached out to and supported us too. You know, really thank you for digging in and
for
supporting us and
taking a chance.
Yeah, taking a chance as well.
You know, you can put that money in anything.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
Put it behind it.
But big thanks to everyone else that did give some money. It was awesome, and we'll see some changes here, and the maintenance of this place will keep going.
And like, just to add a bit more into that, just to give you a little bit of story, a bit of history on the last 6 months or so here at the radio. We had a board meeting as a radio station, not a board meeting, a general meeting as broadcasters, a general broadcasting meeting, that's the word. And we came together and we're really trying to figure out like who we are as a station, and so many things to kind of get this fundraiser on the road, not for the sake of, okay, how do we convince people to get money we don't need. It was actually money we were in desperate need of to keep the station not only running, but like making it to the next chapter that we're going to. And it was one thing that we started noticing is like, man, because of how much effort this radio station in itself has invested in the community and in like social justice issues that that really address the minorities or people in a minority group or from different backgrounds here in Australia, like there's been so much investment that we slightly neglected ourselves, and it was time for us to kind of take ourselves to the barbershop, get a haircut, and get a clean a new suit, and it wasn't to like riding a Bentley on the red carpet to make it was literally
just to look clean.
just to be just to look presentable, to continue doing what we're doing. So I just sharing that for anyone that doesn't really know a little bit more about the intricacies of it, because it goes further and further. Like I said, the history here is 35 years strong, and there's been volunteer after volunteer going through ups and downs, ebbs and flows.
And personally, me and Breno have been here for about 3 to 4 years now. I think
4 plus.
4+ years. And just coming here and seeing the starting and the nervousness at beginning as well.
Yeah, ourselves.
All of it, and just seeing yourself growing through this radio station, and just the people that were involved before we even got here, and that allowed us to come into the station was awesome as well. So, you know what? Let's get to some music.
Yeah,
and
we'll fill them in
play
more
about
stuff later.
two, 3 songs, and stay tuned, because what we're going to do is in these next 2 hours, we're just going to talk about who we are and how we got to this stage, and what's our idea about when we first started and how it's changed to right now. Just stay tuned and you see the story.
Just to kind of share a bit of process, and you might resonate with a part of the story of like hardship or triumph or whatever it may be, but along the way we want to do that because it's the heartbeat of what Good Smoke is. So we thought, how better could you? How better? I don't know if that's the sense, but could we do it any better than putting our money where our mouth is, like putting our foot and really just sharing our stories first. Sharing the cracks and crevices of our stories of how we've got here to finally have this radio show that is on all the social medias, like Eddie said, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. You can go on goodsmoke.com.au to check us out, and if you hashtag SMOODGOKE, you might see that around, SMOODGOKE. That's just Good Smoke with the front letters swapped, and we had to do that because some social media is like Good Smoke's already taken, and it usually has to do with something to do with smoking, inhaling substances of what sort. Yeah, vapors, tobacco, marijuana, whatever it might be. So Smoodgoke, if you see that around, that's like Good Smoke. So just hashtag Smoodgoke if you want to request a song or whatever. Is that what you were going to say as well?
Also, I want to do a big shout out to all the family that's listening, because they know that we're starting off today.
Mm-hmm.
And also one of my aunties called in to my mother today, and Haven't seen her for a while, but she said she's going to listen in too.
Wow.
All the way out in the west, I think it is. Somewhere around there.
Already connected.
Eastwood.
Yeah. Shout out to Eastwood.
Yeah, shout out to Auntie Monica. So
Auntie Monica and Eastwood.
She's listening in, and she said she want to listen to my voice because she hasn't seen me in a while. So
nice. You look the same as you did when you were 13.
Hopefully, anyway. But hopefully she can tell her friends, and they can get onto this. And
of course, man.
Listening.
Tell all your friends out there. If you're in the car on the way home, remember, like, there's going to be killer tracks. We're just yapping right now, just to kind of introduce a bit because it's the beginning of the show.
And because we're excited.
Like little children. But we're gonna have some killer tracks. Always some dope urban, hip hop, indie, whatever you want to call it. Like for some reason nowadays we find ourselves genreless. Last week we were playing some K-pop, and so if you request something, feel free. We're down to play it. And on Facebook, if you want to go on our Facebook page and just under the posts or message on Facebook, whatever, we're always live here, and so you can request a song straight away, or you can make a comment like that's crap where you're talking ruckus, or whatever we're saying is you're digging it. So let us know. We're here.
Also,
keep tuned.
If you do want to get us on the phone, that's 9550-9552. Call that number up and we'll take some requests, or if you want to have a rant, we're more than happy to put you on.
Do your thing.
It's Radio Skid Row 88.9. This is Good Smoke.
That was some dope tracks, and as always, me and Eddie are tripping out. We're listening here to the second track, and like we said, this is our first show as Good Smoke, so you're listening to things just happening live here as well. Like, so we're off the cuff with things. We're really just letting the process reveal itself live on air, even with the cameras. So Eddie's playing a track, and at one point goes, "Bro, that track says about smoke," and he looks at me and he's tripping out. Anyway, thought I'd just share that with y'all. We're going to start a little bit right now, just kind of sharing a little bit with how Good Smoke came to be. Good Smoke, like we said before, it sounds like a bit of an odd term, oxymoronic even, like a bit of a contradiction, a paradox if you want to call it. And we actually came up with that name a bit later on down the track. The story actually begins about 4 years ago, before Eddie was involved. It actually begins way longer than that.
Once upon a time.
But I'll start from my part, just because Eddie will kind of put in the details. We'll play a bit of tennis with conversation here, and you'll get a match. So about 4 years ago, and I think it was the month of May in 2015.
Yeah, something like that.
I have a group of friends. I've lived around Sydney in a bunch of different places, and one of the places that where I live now in Belmore, I had made it quite a nice group of friends around there. And one of the houses that we used to go hang out wasn't the most reputable of places to hang out. Like the house was awesome, the family was a nice place, but like what we used to do that when we hang out was probably considered like just a bunch of hooligans hanging around, smoking some weed, having a bit of a drink, whatever you want to call it. Not condoning and not supporting or approving of any of that. Yeah, not advocating for any of that shit. But at the same time, there was a big group of boys, like intimidating fellas from everywhere around the world. So you can imagine what nationality they could have been. Maybe you can't. I don't know. Anyway. With that being said, they had a friend, an uncle who had just been inside jail, and who had been inside correctional facilities, was locked up, and he found himself changing his life inside and realizing, man, I had this gangsterism growing up. I grew up as a gangster, and I'm seeing so many of the youngsters head the same way, thinking like they don't really have any direction from men or anyone before them that's doing a bit different. So like none of these hustlers on the street are actually turning into entrepreneur businessmen, So he started scratching his head and thought, man, when I get out, I'm gonna see if I can connect with my nephew and start doing something with the younger folks, younger lads. Like when I say younger lads, I'm talking about from 15 all the way to 33. It was the crew I'm talking about, and he eventually organised a time where once a week he'd come up and just chat with the young boys, have a moment where you could call it a guys meeting. I don't know how you'd reference it.
Mentoring.
Yeah, but just a place where some guys can chop it up and actually not necessarily be there just roasting each other, but actually
like with a purpose.
with a purpose. Like one, like if someone's dealing through some shit, there's an opportunity to talk about it. You know, if someone has no idea what to do with a family member, this whatever. You know, so it was one of those moments.
So like a father figure sort of.
Kind of like a father figure, just a role model, and wanted to step in step into the position of mentoring some boys where he felt that you know, could have done with a bit more direction. And I was one of those lads as well. I was just excited about what he was doing, just because I felt like there's a huge need for that in our society. And so one of the days that he was organising to do this, he was also bringing a friend who has a long history here at the radio, who a lot of people a lot of us are friends with, so shouts out to Charlie. But he had this friend named Charlie that was kind of a self-made man that kind of resonated a lot with the young youth there, because he was from the same area in the city, grew up in here, and just a hardworking man, but also a man that I guess in the past understood you know, that young boys need direction, you know.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to just come and chat with these young lads and just kind of give them some encouragement and see if there was any that were, you know, wanted an opportunity for something, whatever. Anyway, long story short, I wasn't there that day, but someone knew that I wanted to be there so much, they hit me up and go, man, you didn't rock up? And I go, I didn't know it was on. I end up going, if the guy's still there when I get there, I hope I'm not late, hopefully the guy's still there when I get there. I got there just as everyone was wrapping up, and Charlie, like a dude that he is, he said, man, sorry you're late, but if you're happy to listen to what I got to say, I'll say it all again just for you. And he was happy to just be so intentional, even though there was so many people listening and that was the main show. He was happy just to do the whole presentation again, sort of thing, just for me, and that kind of impacted me a bit. And so I listened to him for a while, and he just stopped and asked me, man, what are you into? What are you doing? I said, man, I love music, entertainment, and wouldn't mind doing something in that region, in that genre, in the art, you know, in that sphere. So I've been working on that for a while. And he goes, look, I do a radio show every Tuesday. Why don't you come and sit in next Tuesday? And I go, sweet. That Tuesday that I got there, apparently, I don't know, this is from what he told me on the day, that the two co-hosts he had before quit that week. And so here I am on the first time here visiting him just to see how it's running. I'm co-hosting the show with him. So long story short, after the show, it went pretty well. It was fun. It was really exciting. I was hella nervous. I learned a lot of things just on that first time being here in front of the mic. Realized I don't really care what other people's opinions are on what I'm saying here, as much as you think like you'd care, but you don't realize because there's no audience, there's no clapping, there's no boo, there's no nothing. And I found that was really interesting. So if y'all are booing on the other side of this, I don't know. In my head, y'all are all clapping listening to this. Anyway, and so at the end of the show, I go, bro, I got a friend that I think would be down for this, because me and Eddie in the past, we've been connecting with a few creative ventures, and we had always mentioned something along the lines of this. So he'll get into that a little bit more. But so the week after that, I got Eddie on board. I got in touch with Eddie, see if he wanted to come down. He was down more than you could have been down. And the same thing happened. Me and Eddie have just never left. We have gone through ups and downs here, in the sense of people have come and gone. Charlie is no longer here with us. Still a huge influence in what this has become. The show used to be called The Big Smoke. And we didn't hate that. You know, we didn't hate that at all. The Big Smoke was really cool, had an awesome logo, awesome emblem, and it was really hard to kind of think like, dang, we're gonna let go of this, and what are we gonna produce? But way before that, I even got here, the reason we believed that we actually could do something here and there was a purpose to this, is we envisioned this all way before we even got here. Me and Eddie would talk about so much of this but in the sense of it's so far-fetched. Like, this isn't faith or hope, Breno. This is foolishness. Like, we sound like crazy folks believing what we're believing for, and we're still believing for more and greater. And so when we were left with this, with the Big Smoke, so a lot of people had come and gone, and no hatred on all of them. They're all lovely. We all love them much. They're all like family. They're radio skid rowers for life, I guess you could say. And they were co-hosts, they were friends, they were all sorts of stuff, guests, all of them. We felt that there was a need to, if we're going to do this differently. So firstly, it started where we lost control of our Facebook. And it's like, dang, what's going on? Like, stuff started crumbling around that to keep us going with the big smoke that we didn't foresee, and so we started seeing it as a sign of, okay, the big smoke season's over and it's time to hang that up on the shelf and a season for something new. And we were like, we didn't know what it was. So big smoke represented like the hustle and bustle of Sydney, like the big
it's off
factories.
It's the name of like
a few big cities, like
any big city that's like New York or
industrial,
and Tokyo or something like that. Yeah.
I think San Francisco was whatever, all that sort of
just
stuff.
known as the big smoke, you know.
Known as the big smoke from all, I'm guessing, the chimneys and the factories that used to be there in the past. So, as much as we love the name Big Smoke and the like I said, the logo is clean as. I'm actually wearing a shirt right now, just to prove it, like the old school Big Smoke shirt, and we felt like we had a different vision. Like we couldn't capture that. Didn't encapsulate our whole vision. We felt like there was like certain negative connotations that come with the big smoke, and it wasn't necessarily bad. It's just more like there's so much baggage with it that people expect and see certain thing, and unbeknownst to us, we were going to get a name that even sounded worse to people in their head. Like Good Smoke, automatically they had so much baggage that went to, you name it, you guessed it, smoking weed, and it was far from that, you know. And so for a long time we were thinking we need to change this. So the website, the Facebook, we couldn't get involved with, and we couldn't come up with a name for a while. We put names in a hat with another partner that was with us at the time, Marcin. Shouts out to Marcin Kulka. He's a dude, a Polish fella, and we came up with this name, and then eventually he had to go because he had recently had a newborn and wife, kids, and as life gets a hold of you, he couldn't be fully invested. So me and Eddie were left with the name Good Smoke, no logo, no emblem. The only guy that kind of was technically proficient in a skill, Marcin, kind of dipped out. Where me and Eddie have developed ourselves in many areas, and we're kind of like a master, jack of all trades, and just mastering some at the moment. And so Eddie studied film, and we've been here on the radio learning so many things. To see how I didn't say I studied anything, because I'm not sure if I studied it, but like we found ourselves with like, Eddie, we're at worse than ground zero than we thought, you know, like we weren't even confident with the only name we had, sort of thing. And since that day, like since then, it's expanded, evolved, and not without its hardships. If anything, times got harder than that, you know, and it felt like we couldn't get someone to understand our idea of Good Smoke, not even if we tried. It felt like people just couldn't get past the negative connotation of the word smoke, which we felt like maybe that's a sign for us to step away. And then more and more that we wrestled with it, we found it as an invitation. Found it as an invitation to address things that we probably couldn't address before, and talk about things we couldn't talk about. And unbeknownst to us, that's the second time I've used that word in 2 years and in 5 minutes. And unbeknownst to us, it was not like it was gonna help us learn what we were gonna do here. It was gonna give us our theme. It was gonna give us language for what we were already doing. And as we learned more about smoke, we realized we had been navigating like smoke, in the sense that behind the scenes, under covers, in the cracks, like the fire we were trying to make wasn't fire yet. It was just smoke still, you know. And we resonated so much with it, and as we learnt more and more, we fell in love with it. We fell in love with Good Smoke, and felt that there's enough that we've already built up in coming up with the name and the 4 years of coming to where we're at now, that we realize this has so much legs on it that it's gonna be hard for us to keep up with it. So we thank all of y'all for even tuning in right now, because of this radio station, because of the many listeners beforehand that gave me and Eddie the time of day to get everything wrong here on the radio as we're learning, to finally get to the point where, not that we have a final product, because I don't think Good Smoke is a product. I feel like Good Smoke is more like, picture a pointer. like in a lecture room, someone that's got a little laser pointer. I feel like Good Smoke is kind of like that, where we're just highlighting something, where smoke is always in history. When you look back in history, all the way through history, smoke's been used to communicate. Whether it's to communicate something's cooking in the on the stove and it smells good, or if it's to communicate danger, if it's to alert people to get away earlier before the danger actually arrives, or if it's just to reveal a process in action, be it steam or whatever it may be. And so that's what this place. That's what we kind of came to reality that we want to do. Aligned so much with what me and Eddie were envisioning beforehand. With we wanted to be people that connect others. We don't want to be the main star. We don't, like, so for instance, if us as a society all play parts of a body that make the society work well, there's people that are called to be mouthpieces, there's people that are called to be right on the face, you know. Me and Eddie felt like we were meant to be kind of like ligaments, just connecting all those parts of the body. That not necessarily that we help it work, but I think we might help certain parts of the body understand other parts of the body.
Yeah.
And not that we have that wisdom, but we have a part to play that allows certain parts of the body to hear what other parts of the body have to say about life. I know that was all metaphoric. You're gonna have to bear with me because I do that for days, speaking allegory.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Radio Skid Row. I'm going to play a few songs, and then that was Breno's side of the story. I'm going to tell my side of the story.
Yeah, and that was it felt weird because it didn't get detailed, and then it got detailed, and then it didn't.
Get detailed, and I'll
There's so much to go. Yeah,
I'll fill in the gaps. But anyway, stay tuned. I'll tell my half of the story. It's just hit 7 o'clock. We're going to play some Kanye West. And remember, this is the Good Smoke. You're always listening Good Smoke no matter where you go. Radio Skid Row 88.9. You're tuned in to Radio Skid Row 88.9 and you're listening to Good Smoke. How you going, ladies and gentlemen?
Chillin'.
If you just tuned in, remember to check us out on radioskidrow.org.
Do that.
Also check out Facebook with Radio Skid Row and Good Smoke as well. Just type that in the search bar and you'll be sure to find one of the first ones up on the top there. Alright,
100%.
ladies and gentlemen.
You've been killing on the tracks there, Eddie, by the way.
Thanks, man. Thanks to the artists that are actually singing them. I just pressed the play button.
Yeah, do you? I thought weren't you performing there the whole time? I thought you'd been performing the whole time.
I know you can mix my skills.
I saw you beatboxing there at one point. I thought you were doing that.
That's the way it is, man.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my half of the story. So, 2 weeks prior to Breno introduced me to Charlie, I was on the phone with a good mate of mine named Chi, and we're just talking about life and just going through things. How can we make change in our families? How can we get some money for our families, pay their mortgages off, all that sort of stuff? Thinking big dreams with absolutely nothing. And one thing that came to mind while we were talking, I go, man, what if we start like a radio show or something?
Nah.
And then I like a little child, I was like, no, this is gonna be mad. I can do this, I can do that. I had a million thoughts of like what I can do, And then 2 weeks later, Breno comes up to me and he gets a radio offer, volunteer on a community station, 88.9 Radio Skid Row, and I came in. But then I rang up Chi and I said to him, bro, you wouldn't believe it. We just spoke. You're not going to believe it. We just spoke about radio and Breno bumped into this dude.
Did he freak?
Yeah, man. He was laughing because me and Chi, when we first met, we just started talking a lot about everything, About
Shouts out to Chi, OG producer.
Yeah, and hopefully
Quantum.
See him in the future.
Yeah.
But we used to talk a lot, for hours, on the phone, talk about what we could do, how we can, be a team and work stuff out. How can we, just trying to get everyone involved in a bigger plan than doing the 9 to 5. Because at that point I was working full time, man. I was doing
when you were doing security you were doing full time and security at the time.
Yeah, I was working in just a driving job.
Wow, not just
no, it was a driving job delivering files for lawyers and stuff whatnot. And then on the weekends I'll do security and work until Sunday morning at 4 a.m. and get home, sleep, and start on a Monday, And I was thinking, I'm gonna save all this money. I'm gonna invest it in this. I had all this big plan.
Yes, of course.
And then
how'd that work out for you?
Yeah, and then the plan didn't work out at all. Life got in the way. or I got in the way of life, and then yeah, everything just crumbled. So you come to a low point in your life, and you know, I'm not saying that I'm a veteran. I've been in this life for ages. I've only been here for 33 years, and maybe 20 years of consciousness. I don't remember.
You can't. Yeah.
Like making my own decisions and stuff like that. So I got into, you know, film while I was like early in my, or what do I say, early, like 19, 20. I didn't know what that was going to come about. Also, before that, leaving school, I went into plumbing with my father. He's a plumber. Shout out to my father. And yeah, I was just in a bunch of jobs here and there and working and trying to work things out, you know. But then, you know, I jumped into my passion, which was film. I always loved film when I was a kid, you know, like watching movies, watching cartoons, and especially the movies and cartoons my mum exposed me to, like Disney and all that sort of stuff, Lion King, man, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Just like incredible to me, you know.
Things that like are still epic now.
Yeah, exactly, like classics, you know, that you probably find one or two cartoons now, but I know that era, early 2000s was maybe even 95s, 96s, you know, those were the eras of classic movies, and I think that inspired me, and I just never knew it was just like a sleeping giant within me. So,
and then you start appreciating odd things after a while. Like, not odd, but like what you didn't expect.
No, really, I did appreciate odd things. People do a lot of odd art out there, and if you're not in the loop, you wouldn't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's stuff like that if you're in the circle, but there's other movies too that everyone understands as well. So, and I just love the sounds and music and all that sort of stuff as well. So it got me to a point like, what am I going to do with all this stuff? And this is how the radio came about. Like, it all sums up into this like little moment now, where it's probably just like another step to a bigger step, but who knows?
Yeah, no, I get you.
But yeah, even when we're talking about Marson, our mate Marson, I haven't seen him in a while. Shout out to Marson. But what happened was, there was one night we went to his house. Remember we had that barbecue?
Yeah, we had a fat feed there.
Yeah, it was really a fat feed, eh?
Yeah.
We had it on the barbecue. It was good. And we just, you know, we said, you know, this is the night we're going to decide. You remember we were sitting around and we go, this is the night we're going to decide, like, how are we going to get our name? Or how are we going to like have a name where it's not colliding with other names, because that was another thing that we had a problem with. And
because it was hard, because how do you like envision this thing nameless, like, you know what I mean, like it was like almost like we had to call it something in a sense.
But you had the idea, you just didn't know how, because there's so many there is so many facets of it that we've spoken about, and we don't know like where else it's going to go, but we're thinking big, you know. We were thinking big, and we fell into the clouds, you know. We reached the sky limit, and we fell in the clouds. We're just floating, you know. And that's how we got good smoke. No. But anyway, but what happened was, we're having a little barbecue at his house. I think his missus was away for a bit on holiday, so we just gathered a bit. And had a chill out session, and I even brought in some designs that I was working on, and I was sharing with you guys. Remember? Logos, and it was nowhere near what. Nowhere near what it was now.
Because we weren't sure with the name yet, so we were just using whatever.
So I was trying to manipulate the original logo and all that sort of stuff, or whatever. It didn't work out. But you know, these are the building blocks to the House of Good Smoke. I just made that up. Anyway, so then we came up. I said to them, listen, because there was this idea that I read in the Bible, because you know I read the Bible. But anyway, in the Bible, they cast lots to make decisions, you know, which are dice. They cast dice.
It's kind of like the game you play as a kid, where you throw something up in the air and you grab another, or different, or
nah, just throwing dice and getting the highest.
It's like pulling sticks, like getting the shorts. Small shorts,
something like that. Yeah, but it said pulling like sticks, basically the idea of that God makes all decisions. So we said, regardless, you know what? Let's just give it up. Let's just come together and let's see what it falls on. So. In the beginning, Breno didn't even want to put any names. Because he wasn't. He just didn't feel like his names were.
I thought my names were shit. Like, to be honest, I thought we got 4 cracker names here. I don't want to waste like 2 little possibilities. Like, I'm thinking, if it lands on these 2 shit ones in my head, you know, like I'd be so devo.
Yeah. And I forgot mine too. I think one was Goodfellas. Was it? Nah.
I'm not sure, but I really liked I just remember really liking the names. Like,
there was one. I think I had Goodfellas, and I think I had Bonafide. I think what was another thing to name the show.
Bonafide, yeah. I think I remember that one.
And then I think I don't know what Marson had, and you had Good Smoke, and I don't remember the other one. But we had 6 because there's 6.
Yeah, we had 2 each.
Yeah, so there's 6 numbers on the dice. So we said, okay, the first name that lands 3 times, the number that it lands on 3 times, we're choosing that number, and we're choosing that name. And Breno was reluctant even to put the names. He goes, "All right, man, we're just gonna." I just go, "Just put it, bro. Just put it."
And I didn't want to put Good Smoke.
Yeah, but and so we rolled the dice, like metaphysically and physically. We rolled the dice on it, and what happened? It came up with Good Smoke, and the beginner was like, "Are you sure? Like, are we sure we're gonna go with this? Like, is this the one?"
Yeah, we were so like hesitant, bro.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
hard, man.
But it was weird because of how me and you are. Like, I'm a bit with regards to faith as well. Like, I traveled for about 5.5 years with no idea. Like, people say, "How do you save up money for that?" You don't. I don't know how I did it. It just worked out. So I'm kind of a bit crazy and believe that things are outrageously possible even when they don't look like they're gonna pan out. So when we cast the lots, whatever, and the dice.
Well, lots is just the name.
Old school, yeah.
Old school.
Yeah. When we did that, when we rolled
cast Dal lots.
Dal lots. Yeah. When we rolled the die, and it came up good smoke. There was this weird thing where it's like, I don't want this. I don't know why we're having this, but I know this is gonna work out with this one. There was this like comfort thing because it wasn't based on our decision anymore. Like if it was to fail, the name, like I don't know, I was happy. I don't know. I didn't feel like the name would be the issue. If this wasn't gonna work out, it had nothing to do with the name.
Even when I first heard the name, I didn't like, whoa, man, this is the name. It was like, is this the name?
I was reluctant to tell people. Like, how do you say like? Because the first thing that comes when you say, oh, the show's called Good Smoke is, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, but even here, like even like adversaries, I can't even say adversaries. People that
oppose
don't have an understanding yet, or we haven't even explained ourselves. I think
when people jump the gun to the conclusion of what it of course, and that's the thing we had the most struggle with, like
even the closest people next to us,
family people,
workmates,
workmates,
even here at the radio there was some pushback, but the thing is, it's through them not understanding, I'm not understanding either why they're not accepting it, so I'm learning to understand why they don't accept it, because they don't know what it is yet, so which is fine, and people have their opinions, but people do come around or people don't, like I don't know if you watched Sister Act. Have you watched Sister Act?
Of course, that's a staple.
Remember the people, like some of them had an agenda, some of them didn't even see the dream, bro. Like they were like, no, we can't do this, it's against what we believe in. Others were like saying, no, we need to sell this place because they want the money and invest in high-rise buildings, whatever. And this lady was like purely going for her goal, you know what I mean? And she changed the minds even of the most like reluctant one that would ever change their minds. They changed their minds and like became friends. It was a group of people, like family, and I love Sister Act anyway.
Yeah, no, Sister Act cracking me. Shout out to Whoopi.
Yeah, shout out to Whoopi. Anyway,
my mate Whoop.
The old Whoopi. Old school Whoopi.
Is there a new school Whoopi?
Yeah, there's a new school.
No, there isn't.
Like
How could? Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I feel bad that I know what you mean. Shout out to Whoop.
Anyway, but yeah, shout out to all those.
I don't know if she's gonna like me calling her Whoop,
but yeah, like anyone that's listening, what we're trying to do here is that like, we've gone through difficult times, like trying to get things up, trying to do our own dreams, whatever. But also through the stories that we're gonna like tell people, present, that we interview. We want to show, like, they have done it too. There's a lot of people out here. I feel like Sydney, Australia, youth don't have just like somewhere to go and say, you know what, people are going through the same struggles, bro. Like,
or some people that are just paved the way, not in front a bit, but like just have hit enough walls to be able to go, you know what, I'm not only not going to hit these walls, but I want to I want to help people not hit the same walls as I'm hitting. You know what I mean?
Or if you keep hitting the same wall, to either help you climb the wall or knock it down.
Metaphors for days, eh? No, but I think you're spot on there with especially like us as where we are as a society now. It's really really easy to use one brush, like one stroke to just paint everything like a certain way. Like these people are these labels and all that sort of stuff. And we found that as much as we don't really know, me and Eddie aren't the wisest people. We're the first ones to tell you that, but we're really thirsty and hungry. Thirsty, that sounds a bit scary, but we're really hungry to learn and to grow, and then to really give back to our community. We want to be able to do something that way after us, it's still having fruits when we're gone. And so when we see that the people that we can influence, it's possible to influence them just by sharing stories, relating stories. We don't have all those stories, but we found a way where we can share more stories. That there's a lot of people that with so many stories out there that actually resonate with the dreams that we have in our hearts. So like I say that with this in mind. A lot of people it can be superficial or materialistic, or some people it's not that so a house and a car might actually be hella necessities and dreams, outlandish dreams for certain people, and for some people it's actually just a way to flaunt, so whatever it might be, there's people that have reached all those goals, and the roads they got there, they didn't seem like the fluffy cotton candy roads that we envision it looks like to get there. Like most of these billionaires have been bankrupt a few times. Most of these artists that have finally cracked the movie and got a headline role, they've been an extra for 10, 15 plus years.
Rejected,
Like even Logic, who's a rapper right now that's blowing up. Not Logic, NF, who's a rapper that's blowing up right now. One of his main tracks where he already looks like far out. This is going to be a hella cool rapper. Nah, this has been a hell cool rapper. This is 10 years him in the game, and he's finally got to the point where what the buzz he's making is reaching your doorstep,
And I think that's the good thing about like these social medias now, because you can see
process
10 years back, you can see 10 years back, whereas back in the day when you see it on the TV, it's unreachable.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I wish one day I can make it there, but then you realize like even just then we were listening to J. Cole, False Prophets, like, it's not what it is, like it's all false.
But I feel like with the in the day and age we have, like it happens all the time. People say some shit, and then like the keyboard warriors out there go find their Twitter post from 5 years ago of something that they said, and it's like, wait a sec, and call you out. And I'm not totally for that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like, I think people change so much, but I feel like people are unaware of their own change unless they're confronted by it with wait a sec, did I actually say that shit? You know what I mean? And I think in the society we live in right now, it's harder to sell, like when I say it's harder to sell out, it's not harder to sell out, but it's harder to sell out and not be known that everyone knows you sold out. But no one's hating on you for it, but you've sold out in whatever it might be. So like when you've got videos of people on their YouTube channels, it's not that it improved. I'm not talking about the quality of, but when you start noticing substance in the beginning and then it just starts getting substanceless and clickbaity, you realize this guy finally, wait, how do I just get more people to like, subscribe and fill my pockets,
Quantity,
and a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, don't go out there to, join a YouTube club of a certain amount of subscribers and now they're getting paid for it. But then there's a bunch that do, you know what I mean? And
but yeah, like it just like we want to just be like,
in between that.
no, I just want to be like okay, I'll tell you a story that will probably help you to understand where I come from. I remember when I was a child, I was where I was living. There was 2 footy players from the Roosters that used to live right around the corner from us, right? There was Michael Crawford.
The Roosters, is that a football team?
Yeah.
Or a netball team?
NRL team.
NRL team,
National Rugby League
netball rugby league team. Okay, so shouts out to the Rabbitohs.
The Roosters are the best team. That's some mad both ends of the section. But yeah. Anyway, shout out to the Roosters. Anyway, Roosters.
I'll let you talk.
But they lived around the corner in Eunice. They were young then, like 30s, so like 20s, 22s maybe.
Wow, the 30s still young.
Yeah, no, but
I know who they were. Yeah.
And one time we saw Crocker, me, my brothers, and my neighbours. There was about maybe 7 or 8 kids of us, all young,
Oh, normal Leber family.
Yeah, no.
Oh, not you. Oh, this is you.
Three, me and my brothers, and my neighbours.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Just a bunch of youngsters.
Pack, whatever. Just running around, dirty faces on BMXs, whatever. And they were standing. They were there, and they were walking across from the park because we always in the summertime play footy all the time, bro. Like it doesn't matter how hot it was, we went there, bro. We went there every day of summer.
Yeah.
And used to get $1 drinks from the corner store. Shout out to Lucky's in Kensington.
Kenzo.
It's $1 drinks from there. We even made bets on those drinks, whatever. One day we see Crocker. He walks by, like we all went up to him, fans, whatever. And we're like, man, would you like come down and play with us one day at the park?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, next weekend, and I'll bring Flanagan with me, and which is another player. Back in the day. He went to England now, but no word of a lie. Next week they come, but watch this, bro. An old school friend of my mother rocks up to the house, right? and I'm the one left, and my mum's not home, and I'm the one left with hosting my mum's friend.
Oh,
And my brothers and all my friends,
Crocker and Flannigan, and they go play footy.
Yeah, and they all play with my brothers and I just got the last 5 minutes at the end of the game. I rocked up to the park. I played.
But I full picture you getting in and they go, "This is the best day of my life!" Like, you know, just
it was
ripping
like
into
that.
it, yeah.
They didn't say it, but it was like that, man. You don't understand.
You would have been burning.
Bro, I was burning.
But I know you, Eddie. You would have been burning
burning
like this at the start. No, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
No,
you
but
can't
the
even
thing is,
open your
I
mouth.
like the lady too. Like.
Yeah, I know. You would have
You know,
done it out of the goodness of your heart.
Yeah,
I
You know
know.
how there's those ones you don't really like, and you try to give them the cold shoulder, like, you know, you're trying to. Anyway.
Yeah. No, they exist.
But this lady was awesome. You know, she was an auntie to, like, she wasn't my blood auntie, but she was an auntie to me ever since I was a kid. So, bro, it was like a time of testing maybe to say what is really priority in your life. But anyway.
Yeah.
So I got the last 5 minutes, and my mum rocks up. I got the last 5 minutes of the game. And I tried to play so hard in those.
You try to get signed, eh? You try to get signed.
Serious? Of course I was trying to get signed. Me and my brothers were trying to do sidestep, whatever, bro.
That's hilarious.
Going full hard out. But what the point of the story is those two guys, bro, have left an everlasting memory of hope, bro, and like something that made me move with so much excitement that I would have done anything to be there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so that's what I want to do with this sort of thing. Like, I want it to be like, oh, next week, Good Smoke's coming on.
Yeah.
And this guest is coming on. I'm so eager to see, like, what are they going to talk about?
Yeah, man.
And like, have that childlike excitement.
Giddiness.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're going to Wonderland.
And that thing always stays with me, bro. No little life. If you guys see me and my brothers talk about it, it was like a 30 for 30, you know? Like
it's a full documentary. Sit down. Yeah, man, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, no, that sounds dope, bro. And
listen, we got half an hour left.
Yeah.
Or less than half an hour. 7:32. I'm gonna play maybe 2-3 songs. Come back, wrap it up, and just tell people we'll come in the future. What's coming in the future?
Yeah, and even next week, because I got some news back on our guest next week.
Okay.
Do we share?
We'll share it after
the news break.
The song break.
The song break. Oh, the news break. Yeah, no, we got no news here. New news.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep safe on the roads. I know it's raining out there. I'm gonna play this one. Hopefully you can. I know it's raining, but wind down the windows, play the music. Who cares? Get a little bit wet. This one is J. Cole, Middle Child. And I'm not a middle child. I'm the first child. But shout out to all the middle children.
I'm a middle child.
You are too, yeah.
22 years after I was 22 years old, and then I become a middle child. How was that?
How was that transition?
We'll get into it.
Radio Ski 88.9. Stay tuned. Listening to Good Smoke.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned into Good Smoke.
Joining.
You're tuning. It's just been such a dope show. We're already towards the end, which is kind of a head to it, because it's kind of like when you're like, I guess this is how an Olympian feels, bro. Like they train for 4 years, Eddie, 4 years only to perform for that little moment. And this is our, I don't know if this is our Olympic game match, but this is how it kind of feels. It kind of feels surreal, because me and Eddie have really like put in so much work, a lot of sleepless nights, and that's without life. Like life in itself is hard, has been hard as shit, and having to go through the battles that me and Eddie have been going through to get this off it onto its feet, with the struggles that we had to go through in our own lives, personal issues. There was losses of family and just a lot of things. So this feels like I wanna sit here and relax a bit, Eddie. I wanna take it in. Just
even like I'm thinking back, like before the 4 years, bro. Like before all that, when we were chilling in my room, just watching and like figuring out stuff, man. Like that period.
Yeah, we're watching like motivational videos or things that
I think I just got my iPad, and it could like sit up.
Yeah,
and so we were watching it like a TV.
And I remember we'd stay in Eddie's room just chopping it up. Like sometimes we'd spend our nights like just freestyling and just writing, just trying to do anything creative, like drawing, whatever it might have been, and just trying to fan the flame of what was inside. Because I don't know about you, Eddie, but me, I never kind of had a creative outlet growing up. Like there was never the thought of that. People might need an outlet where they invest not only their time and their effort, but like their imagination, you know? And so it was really cool to, around that time, kind of figure out, wait a sec, I know we've grown up in certain areas, Eddie, like with certain sort of hoodlum sort of guys growing up. But like, we were hoodlums at times, and you know, like me and Eddie have been blessed to have friends from all sides of the tracks. So in going through all that time, never realized these little things along the way, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like like as you asked, like I don't know if I had any creative outlet. I think looking back now, yeah, I did. Back then I never saw it as something.
You didn't, yeah.
I never thought it was something that I was expressing myself.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I do when you ask me that, and one thing that comes to mind, shout out to my brothers and my mum at home, because this is something they'll understand a lot. And maybe you will too. Every Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever watched Rage. Do you remember Rage?
Oh, 100%.
Rage,
yeah,
Rage.
yeah.
You know that?
I can't forget Rage. You know what I mean? Like,
that guy scared you.
That voice.
Rage.
Shut up! I remember even the full frontal version where they teased it. That's why I get, you know, like, Rage, shut up! Like, that's the last one screaming, shut up.
Full frontal, but come on.
Oh, passport, all that.
I wish
we're
they
showing
brought
our
that
age
back.
there. Yeah.
I wish they brought that back. No, but we got.
Shouts out to Eric
I think we got the reruns when we were there, bro. I didn't think we got the.
No, I don't know, bro.
Because it was like, yeah,
otherwise, some of those guys will be 100. Otherwise, Eric Bana will be 100 years old.
He's from Troy, bro.
He's got that Tom Cruise chain.
Yeah, probably. But this is what we used to do, man. And my mum would like encourage and join in half the time as well. There was a period of time when Mambo Number 5 was top one, the number one top song in the for like freaking months.
It felt like it was a glitch in the Matrix, bro. I swear. It felt like it was a legit glitch in the Matrix. Yeah, I know, I get it. But bro, think about this. Beforehand, normal music, and then one song comes out based in the 50s or whatever, and it's like Mambo Number 5. No one even knew what that was. Nothing. And everyone just went nuts. Half the song is him naming birds. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And just saying like what, bro. Like I don't think that track would go number one now.
Not at all.
No,
too politically correct.
Too politically correct. Yeah, unless he names more than.
No, but
like,
you know what? He never was rude in the lyrics. He was insinuating all the time.
Yeah, a lot of insinuation.
Which is pretty creative.
But I think he'd be better as it was.
But I was watching it. I was a child watching this. Imagine, and then there's women on the TV. I'm like, oh.
Bro, I think there's a lot of like just simple things. Jump up and down and move it over. Come on, I know that's the dance moves. But hey, I might have not noticed when I was young, but yeah.
Anyway, my mother.
Shouts out to Mambo Number 5. What's the guy's name again?
Mambo Number 5.
No, the Lou Bega.
Lou Bega, yeah.
Ooh, I'm a J. Shouts out to Lou Bega.
He's coming on soon.
He's coming on next week.
Anyway, what was I trying to say? My creative outlet.
Yeah.
My mum used to get us to like. It was probably when it got to top 10. And even another song, bro.
I can't. I freak out. You know why?
Why?
No, I remember back at that time and just being hella confused. Again, I think I was just confused. Simple. No shouts out. Like I don't even know if it's a bad thing, but I'm even feeling weird to tell the story. How weird is that?
What, that you like the middle one?
No, I didn't like it. What a lot.
Because that's the only girl.
No, but it wasn't. No, I think the middle guy looked like a chick. But it was just weird because like you had no idea it was three boys. And so like when people talk, have you seen that? What do you mean the three boys? You mean that the two brothers and that their sister that's leading the band, you know? But shouts out to Mbab.
Yeah, but those were tangents. So now you understand context, like where I was what years I was in, right?
You were confused.
In the time warp machine. And my mum, we used to dress up silly, bro. Everything suspenders, whatever. They were kids, bro.
For Saturday.
Yeah, Sunday morning. We used to get up in the morning. We lived in a little flat. There was like a little, what do you call it? Like a dining area / lounge room together.
A little.
Like it was like anyway, whatever. It was just like
loft?
where the TV was.
Loft.
Yeah, where the TV was, with the dinner tables behind, whatever.
Yeah.
And we used to run into the room, and from top 10, from top 10 to 1, we just used to dance silly, all thing. And we used to just have fun, bro. I don't understand why we used to do it. Like now, I probably would do it still, but I'm just saying it was just weird that my mum would allow us to do stuff like that. Even like we used to play a lot of cricket at the backyard, a lot of basketball, all this stuff.
But I think these are a lot of things that all of us did, like when we lacked innocence.
Yeah.
I mean, not lacked innocence when we had our innocence still. You know what I mean? Like,
When
Like-
you used to could dive and catch a ball and you wouldn't be scared because you're a child, you wouldn't get hurt, you know.
No,
Now-
but
now
you
wouldn't
don't.
do that.
You don't, also don't care to look like a fool.
Yeah, that's
back
what I-
then, you know
yeah,
what I
but now
mean.
you
Where
would
now
never
it's like
try-
I can't jump and catch this ball. I'm gonna look like a like you know what I mean.
My
Just
body's moving.
yeah, I'm gonna my belly, my shoulder, or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
100%.
I think those are the type of things that like our mum allowed us to be creative, you know, and just let us run amok. Only within the house though. But if we ran amok outside the house, game over.
Hey, shouts out to your mum because by the sounds, it seems like she allowed you to figure out if you wanted to be a cross-dresser or not, and you
Yeah.
decided
No,
no.
I
you
never
know?
just think.
I'm joking. I'm genius. I'm just. We're talking about umbap. I thought you thought it was a
like the
good,
middle
but you
one,
thought
bro.
it might have been.
You
Ah,
like
don't worry. No.
It's Radio Skid
It's
Row,
Radio
so-
Skid Row.
And this is you're listening to Good Smoke, and we actually got 3 minutes to finish show. I would like to say thank you to everyone that's been listening, and hopefully you can jump on board and just follow us through the journey and what we're going through. You know, like the page, subscribe to the channels, whatever you need to do, blah blah blah. I don't need to keep repeating that stuff, but you know, just come along with the journey. We want to inspire you and your children and your children's children. Hopefully, we can do this forever.
Yeah, 100%. And like on the website, and we're gonna probably mention it a lot. It's gonna hopefully be on our merchandise in the future. But like representing the cracks and the crevices is an honest thing that we want to do, which is not saying that Australia or Sydney or the people that we're going to interview find themselves in the cracks and the crevices. I'm saying that you can find gems everywhere. You can find stories that enlighten, encourage, build up, and really challenge you everywhere. And sometimes it's in the forgotten places where people aren't expecting to look. And so...
Yeah, like, you know, I don't know if everyone has that little story where they met a homeless dude and he was a doctor back in the past.
I love how it's a little story.
Yeah.
No one's got a big one of it?
No, there's
Okay.
only little ones because
There's only little ones because...
there's not much livable area here, so it has to be little. But anyway.
That's awesome, man. And so that's what we want to do. We want to highlight a lot of awesome parts of our society. If we had a torch, we want to go to the dark areas and shine the torch and show that those dark areas are actually just normal areas as well. It's just dark, you can't tell.
You just haven't seen them.
That's it.
And yeah, you can get to know Sydney and you can get to know Australia through us, hopefully.
And I'm glad that this has been our first official episode, Eddie. It's kind of like we don't want to get off. Usually we'd be wrapping up and kind of like not having...
Yeah.
Now we almost...
Now we're
The Ghana boys, shouts out to the Ghana boys, they got the show on next.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say as well, next week, Eddie, I know it's kind of
that's
fun,
right.
guys. Next
Who's
week,
our
our
guest?
special guest.
You set this up, right?
Yeah, I set this up. It's a good friend of mine. I've known him for over 20 years.
And you're 22?
I'm 21,
Oh.
actually. So, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But he introduced me to majority of my friends. And this was a long time ago. He's always been a class act guy. Everyone that knows him is a big fan. And that gentleman is Khan Paydas. So
Shout out to Khan.
shouts out to Khan. He's going to join us next week, and he's an all-rounder in everything. Right now, he's a self-made businessman, an entrepreneur, but at heart, he's an individual that has literally gone out of his way to find himself, and then in doing so, he's I'll let him explain it more.
Yeah,
but he's literally just okay. I find that Khan found and understands certain aspects of freedom that people don't even know they need. And so Khan, hopefully next week, will not necessarily bring bells and whistles, but just bringing his story is and the person that he is, his character, it's going to be awesome. This radio station is going to be awesome next week. So feel free to join us. Make sure you tune in. That's Khan Paydas. He's not a famous celebrity yet. I'm gonna make sure he goes viral and he starts teaching a TED talk in Amsterdam one day. But shouts out to Khan, and he's gonna be next week. Not your average Joe Blow, but your special Joe Blow. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. And I think the most that I know about Khan is just hearing about him.
it's gonna be awesome for you, Eddie, because
growing up,
I feel like you're gonna have the right question to ask because.
You're in the know.
Yeah, because I'm in the know. Like I know Khan. I know like I don't want to direct. Oh, ask him about this, that, because it's going to highlight his awesome stuff. Because he's got some. What I like about Khan's stories, like Khan's story himself, it looks like from the outside in, you'd picture like, my God, this guy's never got it wrong. And he'd be the first one to tell you, like, nah, the reason I can get it right now is because of how he's got it wrong, you know. And so he's a true gentleman, and can't wait to have him on next week.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I really want to do a big shout out for everyone that's listening, that liked the page, that subscribed. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hey, we reached over 50. I know it's a small milestone.
No, that's a big milestone
Hey,
for me, bro. 50 people. Imagine a room full of 50 people. That's a lot of people, bro.
And we reached 60, but I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, so you're
But
trying
60,
to flex
yeah,
on us now,
I'm trying
bro.
flexing.
Trump flexing?
And
Is that what I just said?
I'm Trump flexing.
Wow, that's
Wow,
big.
that sounds
That's
like a
even
level
more.
of flex.
That's a flex.
That sounds like kind of level of flex that your hair comes off. I don't know.
It's Radio Skid Radio 0.9. You're listening
Shouts
to
out to Trump.
Good Smoke. We got shout out to Trump. Do a big shout out to the Gunner Boys that we have next, and yeah,
Yeah,
check
Foster
it out.
and the lads.
Check out Radio Skid Row for all the programming that happens there, and also check out goodsmoke.com.au.